Hi everyone, time for another cosmic forecast. We're going to use human design, gene keys, and astrology to look at the current transits and to see what's alive for the collective right now. So we can see that the sun is in gate or gene key 6. The earth is in 36. So this is the transit of the week. The sun is going to stay in one gate, one gene key for 6 days. So right now we're in the second day. And the second line has to do with the mirroring or the reciprocity with the other. So when we have conflict and turbulence in the shadows, and we are in this day where it is about our relationship to our partner, to the other, there could be some agitated energy in your close relationships, but that is also an opportunity to get to know yourself. The second line always gains awareness about itself by the mirroring with the other. And I believe that this is also connected to where we have Venus right now. Venus is the goddess of love, of beauty, of harmony, and she's right now in Scorpio, which is actually Mars' home sign. So she's not really happy in Scorpio because Scorpio is very intense, very much about going to the places where there is darkness or sexuality. So she doesn't really feel home there. She's in the 28, in the very last line. And this is a daredevil that dares to go deep, that dares to leap, even if they don't know what's on the other side. But the purpose lies in the aliveness of the moment, in being completely alive as we leap, as we take risks. And from this position in Scorpio, where she's not completely happy and where she has to go deep and intense in relationships, into conflict, into turbulence, whatever is there, she needs to face it and have it mirrored. From this place, she has a tense aspect to Saturn and a tense aspect to Uranus. Saturn is in 41 now, and Saturn has to do with the old and the stability, archetypically, if we're going to simplify it. And then Uranus has to do with the unexpected and the new and the future. So we know that this year already we've had some exact squares between Saturn and Uranus, the old and the new, kind of pulling the unexpected and the stable. And that's where she is right now in aspects to both of these. And there can be this feeling like turbulence and conflict between the old and the new. There is something about a risk for fantasy, something that probably might not be able to work when it comes to what we think is stability. 41, fantasy and anticipation. Can we anticipate what's really going to come? Probably we can't. We don't know what the current time is like. So there is something to look at with those old structures that maybe need to die, some values that need to die, some relationships that need to die. And then on the other side, here in the opposition, we have Uranus in the second gate in Taurus. And Taurus doesn't really like the unexpected. But there is something beautiful if we think about it in terms of gene key 2. She's orienting in every moment. So it doesn't really matter if something unexpected happens next moment, because when we are really grounded in that gene key 2, which is actually my life's work. So when you're really grounded in the second gene key, you are like, it's very much an earth element here, earth over earth, but it's almost like you're like water. And you can actually flow in every moment. So it doesn't matter what was the last moment. And actually, when we look and we think about the 28, it's very similar. It's living now. It doesn't matter if I die the next moment. I'm living so much in totality now, so I'm actually immortal. Well, something on the other side here is when you're so much in your body. Here is about death and the sexuality and darkness. And here is about the body and the tangible and the senses and the sensual in that sense. And here is when you're so grounded in your body, you can float with every moment. So there is also kind of a tantric theme in between here. I'm so alive in the moment that I can respond to anything that comes. I'm so much in my body so that I can respond to anything that comes. That's a powerful theme. So this seems like a little bit more harmonious, although it's an opposition, if we understand that relationships between Scorpio and Taurus, and we can find that balance. We are speaking programming partners, we are speaking opposition on the wheel, which is always complementary. So these few gates here in in Scorpio can learn from these few gates here in Taurus, and they together they can come to balance. So probably the aspect here with Saturn in fantasy is a little bit more maybe, you know, dangerous in some way. And actually the moon is going to continue here and be together. So there can be, I believe that there can be some emotional together with the 6 and the 36 in the emotional center, which is open, but still very activated through the sun and the earth. Together with this moon coming into Aquarius, meeting Saturn there that has this aspect that is tense. There can be, I would say, don't fall into fantasy, more come into the tangibility of Taurus, and then what needs to die in Scorpio. And we could continue to look at some other aspects as well. But I think what I do want to mention is that we have Venus in Mars's home sign, and we have Mars in Venus's home sign. So if she is not completely happy here in Scorpio, because she's kind of, she has to look to some of those uncomfortable places, and she's all about the harmony and the comfort and the love and the beauty. Well, here we have Mars, and Mars is actually 46.4. My EQ is 46.3. And what can happen here, he likes to act. He likes to be decisive. He likes to know what the next step is. And there is something here when he came from Virgo, where he still had some of that action, fixing, detail oriented, what needs to be remediated. Well, now he's in Libra, and now he kind of has to weigh all the things with each other. And although he has an ability here a bit more than usual, at least in his immature expression, he usually won't see all the sides. Well, here in Libra, he's kind of asked to look at all the sides. He's also asked in the 46 to come into the body, the temple in human design, and kind of come from there, not only be this kind of fiery, forward-oriented energy, but also be more coming into the body, which is funny because in astrology, this is an air sign, and it's kind of more up in the air than into the body maybe. But it has that, the beautiful thing is that it has the scale of balancing. And I would say on the negative side, when it comes to those very direct aspects that we saw with Saturn and with Uranus, I believe that there are decisions to make. There are things that are going to have to die. They're going to have to end, where we're going to have to make a decision. So don't let Mars in this place kind of look at all the different things too much, so that you kind of feel like you are paralyzed. You know, when you have so many things, you don't know what to choose. And then suddenly you're like, oh no, I should probably just be still. Yeah, sometimes that is what you should be. But sometimes we just have to understand that we're not completely going to know the exact outcome. I have this in Mars, like I said, and sometimes I know the outcome and the consequences, like seven places, 7 times, like 7 decisions forward, and in all the different alternatives that I have. And that is not always helpful. There is something here where we actually want to be able to let some things go and to change some things, and not forever be on those scales. When we look at the body graph, so we have spoken about this before, we have the manifesting generator channel, the pure manifesting generator channel in the nodes. So this is going to be for a while. All the babies that are born in the next months have the 2034. So there can be this opportunity for like starting things, manifesting things. Know that the 3420 is not always reliable in time. It's more like this initiative to start something, and then the energy might be there or not then the next second. So check yourself. Are you starting a lot of things that you're not finishing? And when you're doing things, are you in any way forcing? Or are you able to kind of be in the moment without being busy just for the sake of being busy? We have Mercury here in the last line of the 57. So that's also part of this integration circuitry that is activated. And the 57 is about intuition. There is something in the communication right now, both when you listen to yourself and when you listen to others, where you can have that ear that knows, that can read between the lines. That is important. And I think that even Venus in Scorpio, because she has to go deep and she has to be discerning. Scorpio has that, it's a water sign. So I think that this placement too with Venus, you can read things between the lines, see things that haven't been seen before, getting out of possible fantasy right now. And I would say, again, with all these emotional activations, that's probably, especially with the moon here and where it's going now, that's what can be challenging. So I have to drink water. I'm coughing. So thank you so much. And I see you again next week.